The Brighton
I thought it might be... Shh!
Sorry.
Cunningham variant.
Cunningham variant.
It's a particularly lazy one. Doesn't really transfer. Doesn't really like people. It doesn't go out much. Likes animals a lot.
Spread like cats.
Headshot.
Yeah, it's quite.
I had to make a few notes to try and sort of jog our memory though, because we're going to talk a little bit about how the band formed and what we did first couple of years leading up to the first album. But it was a long time ago.
It was a very long time ago.
So I just went and had a little look. But so we don't have an interviewer, so I'm just gonna. We can ask each other questions. I've got a few. My first one would be, what brought us all to Brighton? Because that's where we met. But I was just. So what's your story, Charlie? How come you ended up in Brighton?
I was living in a squat, then a bedsit in South London. Norwood was the last one. Bumped into an old friend of mine, Chris Bunker. He said, I'm moving down to Brighton. You're on the dole, you can get a flat. I thought, brilliant. So I did that. At the same time, I'd finished with the band that I was with that was based in Brixton called The Feathers due to heroin, not my heroin problem because I didn't have one, but there were some problems in the band. So we had to split, yeah.
So you were already in bands?
So I was already in bands, yeah, in South London. And then decided to come down to Brighton with my mate Chris Bunker and sort of start afresh.
On the promise of a free flat?
Well, pretty much, yeah. DHSS was a wonderful provider at that time.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, no. Yeah, so we sort of landed on our feet on that one, and then literally went about sort of see if there was any bands in Brighton.
Right.
So that's my angle.
So you were looking?
I was looking.
You were looking out?
Looking.
What about you, Jez?
I came down to go to art college.
Right.
From Crawley, where I was.
Time that was.
Well, Brighton loved me. Crawley hated me. So yeah, I just came.
Was
down.
that straight after like sixth form college, or
No. I left school. Well, yeah, I kind of left school, and I did a foundation in a place called Reigate. And after 2 years of doing a foundation course there, I moved to Brighton.
Yeah.
And I met Charlie because he was going out with my next door neighbour. And I got into his band.
Hey.
Yeah, I needed a bass player, and the bass player we had at the time, Jason Woodham, played on a fretless bass guitar, and it was just awful. And so I convinced her that you should just drop that, or just play it, just a bit. And I got Jez in the band.
So you got the job by virtue of having frets on your guitar?
Pretty much.
No talent.
Pretty much.
Dots.
Jason, he was amazed that I managed to learn the whole set list in like about a day or something. And he had convinced himself that his bass lines were like so difficult no one would be able to learn them.
Yeah, it was a bit like that.
And you were already a bass player, presumably?
I was, yes.
And you'd been in bands or not?
Yeah, couple. Not as many as Charlie. Like Charlie been in hundreds.
Nobody's been.
But I've been in a couple.
Good.
And how about you?
Well, I came over here from Germany as my dad was leaving the army, so I came over here to Brighton to do sixth form. So I was at sixth form college here, doing that and working and being in bands. I always wanted to be in bands, and I was in a band with Boaksy back in the day. And we did that for a couple of years, and that was good.
Living just along the coast, I seem to remember him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I lived down in Peacehaven, but mostly I lived on people's floors in Brighton.
But there's nothing going on in Peacehaven, is there? So you ended up in
Nothing
Brighton.
going on in Peacehaven. So I was in Brighton the whole time, hanging out, just and playing music with people as often as possible. And with Boaksy, and he played bass.
With a famously with a string vessel and an army hat.
American army hat. Yeah, he was cool.
You'll know that if you tuned into the last.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He was very cool. So that was that really. And then we met you. I met you.
I was already in Brighton. Yeah, I moved to the south coast about 10 or 11 years old. Lived in Worthing for a bit, and then ended up in Brighton, going to school here. And then you met my sister, and I'd moved away from Brighton. I went to university up in Manchester.
Did you get the same sixth form as me?
Varndeen, yeah.
Yeah, you did, yeah. Saw you there, we didn't know each other then.
A bit older than you.
We didn't know each other then.
Yeah.
see you with your yeah.
But I moved away and lived in Edinburgh and Sheffield for a bit, and then ended up back in Brighton by accident, really. And then you were going out with my sister, playing the guitar all day long.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what they did.
Yeah. And then the call came in. I wasn't even playing music then.
No, because
I hadn't played music for
by that
years.
point, I've met when I met him, because he fancied your sister.
Do we have to here again?
And my ex.
Right, do you know what, the next one of these live chats we're doing, I'm
A bit
getting
more
my sister
successful
in.
there.
Lots to answer for.
My libido got lots of
So yeah, I met Jeremy in the pub, and we just got chatting about music, and that was it. I think pretty much straight away we went up to his place. We met. I grabbed
That's
a
where I
guitar.
met you.
Yeah, I got a guitar. Charlie, you came along,
Yeah.
and I just played some songs.
The pub features heavily in all
Eagle
sort of the
pub.
early press and biogs.
Yeah.
There's been
Because it's the
Where Did
only
You Meet
pub that we
Me?
could actually drink in with looking
Yeah.
like we did. You know, there was two. Well, actually, there was a couple. There was a quadrant, I suppose. But the Eagle was the best one.
Yeah, you used to play pool upstairs and smoke pot. It was brilliant.
Yeah. It was always busy, and it was all right. It was
Yeah.
like-minded people, students and unemployed, and squatters and stuff. It was all good.
It was proper
Art
alternative.
students.
It was
And
so
everyone-
alternative and proper like that when I remember during the Tory Party conference they tried to close it down. Well, they did close it down
Oh,
for
that's
2
right.
weeks.
You
Remember?
Yeah.
Because they thought there was like seditious groups there.
Insurgents.
In the
Insurgents.
Eagle?
In the Eagle, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they did.
There were
Mainly
drunk
because they
groups.
heard like McDermott's 2 Hours coming out the stereo, probably.
Yeah.
Had they known we weren't very organised, they would have just left it.
Yeah, no, that's true. They probably heard
But they
Irish
were-
music coming out.
Yeah, it was. They were just
Oh,
terrified of
probably
anything
was that
Irish
what it
in
is,
those
yeah.
Because of the
days.
previous bombing, so it's anything to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
There
right.
wasn't a really a notable music scene in Brighton from what I remember.
There was.
Oh, there was. Yeah. There
I mean,
was.
on a
No.
nationwide scale.
No,
No, there
no.
was a couple of bands that did all right.
Piranhas. That's what I
No,
remember.
way before.
They were
Yeah,
before.
no,
But by the time we were going, there was one band that did quite well.
Drive, there was a Fraser
Fraser
Drive.
Chorus.
Huh?
Crazy.
Oh yeah, Fraser
Chorus.
Chorus,
Yeah,
yeah.
from Brighton.
Oh,
They
And
did
there was
well
a
themselves.
sort of
Well, and Luke Creswell, of course, from
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
who
of
went on
course,
to
yeah.
do Storm.
But there was a live music scene, but I hated it. The band I
Yeah.
was in tried to pretend to be like one of those sort of bands that was going around at the time, which is kind of like Guns N' Roses, this sort
So
of
we're
music.
talking late 80s, which
Late
is
80s, yeah. Mid to late 80s.
I hated it because no one was playing songs. Like everyone was just like playing. It was like riff salad and trying to look cool. So that was the main thing that impressed me when I
That's
met
right,
you. He could actually fucking write a song. You know, an old school song, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to play old school songs that actually mean something.
Yeah. That was the impetus, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then we realised it was just and there was my friend Bucky played the guitar as well.
Well, yeah, we're going to get into that because the rehearsal space was Grapevine, which was
Initially, it was Charlie's flat.
yeah.
And
Is that
remember
right?
underneath
Yeah, we had
Wizard
that.
Records as well, that tiny little room there.
I had a little sort of practice kit, so that served as the drum kit, and at least work out the parts. It sounded awful, but you know, you can hear what the parts were going to be.
and this was the three of you, right?
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was,
It
yeah.
must
I
be
remember
like-
writing England My Home.
I remember that.
Yeah. We did that.
So this would have been something like the start of 1988, maybe
Yeah,
January or
February 88.
yeah.
So we. I was trying to work that out. Did we meet in '87?
No,
then,
the very
I
start of
think it
88.
really was. It was January 88.
It was, yeah.
Right, because I do remember talking about the storm of '87. That was like the sort of
Yeah,
one of the
because
things
that just happened.
it just happened. That's
It
right.
happened, yeah. But yeah, that's right. It happened.
Trees were all
Yeah.
still down.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the three of you started
Mm.
working at your place,
hmm
and then I got involved.
Quite quickly.
You
Pretty
came down
quickly.
to the first Grapevine session.
I think so.
Yeah.
It was pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was very quick. We didn't, we had we formed some
So there were
songs.
four of us at that point.
Mhm.
No, it was, Bucky was always
Bucky
there.
was
wasn't he?
always
Was
there.
Bucky there from right from the
Yeah, he
start?
was from the very
Okay.
beginning. Yeah, he was. But he didn't.
Right.
He didn't. He just showed up. He didn't come to the song rehearsals because he could never make it
No.
because he was bone idle.
Yeah, he played for the
He
post
played
office.
Paul, wasn't he? He was
He
like,
was
I'm
busy
not
playing
playing
Paul's
Paul.
fucking face.
But he was working at the post office.
And he was working for the post office, yeah, so he couldn't always get around, and he wasn't that
Yeah.
bothered, to be honest. It was not really his
No.
thing.
Mm.
I dragged him along with it, really.
Yeah, because that was part of your thing. Is like I'm in the band, my mates in the band.
Yeah.
And that was part of the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was all right. He was a good guitarist. He,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
he
he was
played.
all right. He
You
played
told
well.
him what to play, and he played it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a bonehead.
Well, yeah. Whenever we needed an electric guitar, it was Bucky.
Yeah.
Bucky.
Yeah.
But what we really wanted was a top line player, and that's why the idea of getting a fiddle player came in. That's where I think we all discussed that and thought. And I said, I know one, John. He plays the fiddle.
Yeah, but he didn't, did he?
He didn't really know.
He didn't. I'm going to play you something now. This is from Charlie's archive, all right? And we'll.
Charlie has an archive.
I have an archive.
Oh.
Yeah, which is slowly depleted because you've got it now.
Well, quite, yeah. That's England My Home, isn't it? That's the start of England My Home, the old start. Well, that sounds good. That sounds like Master of Reality. Sounds like Tame Impala.
It's awkward, man. It's awkward.
It's like the no top end mix.
I'm playing an acoustic guitar with a distortion pedal.
But it's tight, though.
It's tight, yeah, surprisingly tight.
Yeah.
Because these two are tight.
And Bucky would play a
Bucky
bit
was
of
pretty
electric
good.
guitar. It's tight, and I thought that it's good.
What am I singing there?
Yeah, I don't think it's finished the lyrics.
Before we finish the lyrics. Wow.
This is Hawkwind meets Pill.
There's your acoustic guitar with the. So this was from a single mic in the corner of the room at Grapevine, I think.
It's surprisingly good.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's alright.
But a very kind of clear sound. There's no violin.
No.
And distortion sounds alright.
Acoustic guitar, isn't it?
And I remember when we were writing this, we really wanted to do something. We were like,
I'm
oh,
not gonna play the whole
everybody.
thing, right?
We were like
because-
everybody does like when it comes to the chorus, everyone does like the big chorus, and we were like we're going to do like really heavy verses and then do a drop down chorus.
Yeah, yes. That was good, surprisingly
And I
good.
just thought I'd play the start of this one because, and it's basically a tape that Charlie gave me that was clearly, I think, if memory serves me correctly, there was a microphone hanging in the corner of the room, like a 58,
Right.
and you went in with your cassette and you put it in a machine and you pressed record,
Yeah, that's right, yeah, I remember that.
you could take recordings of your
Yeah,
rehearsals
I remember
back,
that, yeah.
just through one mic,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the same thing, but Charlie trying to remember the drum beat.
Oh, yeah.
Which completely dropped this in the end by the time we were recording this. The whole part. I still play it in my head when we play it live.
Alright, so this is the first time you
But this is
appeared
the first time, the violin appeared on.
with a pickup underneath.
Yeah, with an electric guitar pickup under the strings.
My old electric guitar.
Something, but it changes the sound
Yeah, yeah.
into something that isn't awkward anymore.
No, exactly. It's something else.
Sounds fucking great to me.
No, the violin puts another dimension.
Well, it's
I'm like, oh, I'm fucking glad I'm in that band.
Yeah.
And we don't need to play. What I'll do is
It's pretty interesting to hear.
Ropey beginning.
I'll put all these. I'll put these up. There's a handful that I've got there.
Just put on the thing.
And I'll put them up on the app so people can have a listen to them. But I just thought that was interesting because the music seems like it's going off in one
Yeah.
direction.
Because at the time we didn't know what we was going to do.
No,
We
exactly.
had no idea. And it wasn't like, oh, let's form a folk band with electric instruments. It was like, no, let's form a band and play songs.
Yeah,
Add the instruments in and see what happens.
But you knew enough that you wanted an extra element that wasn't just guitars.
Definitely didn't want to lead
We
guitar.
didn't want a lead guitar, but we wanted someone that could do that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is interesting. And there's a couple of bits on there. I think with the violin. If it had been me, I would have said, you know, don't bother coming back to this.
Well, I remember our first ever rehearsal with you and walking out the studio and I goes, oh, what do you think? And he goes, it's fucking garbage. And I'm thinking that's the best thing I've ever fucking heard in my life.
What, was that what you said?
Yeah.
There was a band around at the time. They were kind of an NME band, but she played the fiddle, didn't she?
King of the Slums.
King of the Slums, right? And
Brilliant.
but I think we were playing with you before I heard King of the Slums, and that's what Road when I heard King of the Slums.
Yeah.
I thought, shit, they're gonna nick our idea.
Yeah. She played really distorted,
Distorted,
atonal, like
atonal.
J.J.
Yeah.
Gale kind of.
Yeah.
It's good. I listened to them the other day actually. They're on Spotify or something. Barbarous English Fair. They only did that one album. It's really good. It's really good.
There was a couple of bands that were coming out at the time. The Crop Dusters come to mind.
Yeah, they were different.
They were quite folky, sort of, well, trash folk.
more country and western.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They pissed on
country.
us once, didn't they?
Yeah. There were a few sort of bands doing that
Yeah,
kind of
we
thing.
were experimenting with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
When you go down to the Zap Club where we played a lot, there's all kinds of bands playing. You know,
Yeah.
Saturday afternoons, and you get
Yeah.
half an hour slot.
Hair of the Dog.
Yeah, Hair of Dog, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So many different
we
kinds
played
of
that, didn't we?
experimental things going on there.
Yeah.
You kind of mix things up anyway, so it wasn't unusual to just fuck things up a bit.
I think
Absolutely.
probably out of punk and then new wave, and people were looking for a slightly different direction to go in, and but mixing the punk ethos,
Yeah.
so keeping the music quite simple and not.
That's right.
Being
And what,
really
what
flashy
really
or-
annoyed us, it was all big hair music, wasn't it? It was all.
Big hands. Leather trousers.
It's really,
monitors.
good friends of mine, and all that, but it was all big hairs and guitar solos and songs
Yeah.
about drugs and drinking and stuff. And it was like,
Yeah.
and then they go on tour, and you go say, well, "What's a tour list?" "Oh, we're going on tour," and you go to there's all the different pubs in Brighton.
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's not a tour, is it?"
That's how we got out of Brighton really quick, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of going back and looking at the gig list that's in.
we had Hastings on.
Hastings.
Hastings was a big.
I was there in the week actually, but I went past the car.
Trying to get our way in past the unconscious dead fella.
Where's the stage, mate? Oh, I see that body. Yeah, it's there.
Still there.
Oh, right.
It was
Still
pubs, wasn't it?
disgusting.
Playing pubs.
Same pubs. But outside of Brighton, we got out of Brighton pretty quick.
Yeah.
We made a point of that, I remember.
Yeah, we
Because
did,
it was all, there was a lot of big fishes in a small pond in Brighton. That's what we thought.
It was
on
the south coast
Yeah.
and strange places in the countryside like Nutley,
Yeah, Nutley and Champagnes in Horsham and things like
Horsham,
Huh.
and London. And the first show was March of '88, and then in May of '88 we did the Escape Club as support to the Wonder Stuff.
See, that's so quick, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we got together really quick.
Yeah.
We were on the road doing gigs in 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had, well, our first gig we had 7 songs, didn't we?
Yeah,
And
that's right.
we played at the Basement was our first
Yeah.
session.
And we had to play it again.
And we played them twice, yeah. Because everyone fucking was up for it.
And then the first London show I think was at the George Roby,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right,
Oh, yeah.
which was
I got some cool photos of that
good.
actually.
in October of '88.
And we got a good
Was
review
it?
at the NME.
We did, yeah. Our only other good
Only
review.
good one.
And then the Mean Fiddler.
I remember that 'cause we got a bus up from Brighton. Do you know
Well, the
that?
Mean Fiddler was weird, wasn't it? Because you couldn't go and play there unless you could guarantee to sell a certain number of tickets.
Or pay 50.
You either had to
Pay to
pay
play.
to play, or
That's
you
right.
had to bring a coach full of people. And we always went, we never fucking paying to play, but we will happily bring a coach load of people.
Yeah.
So we used to bring coaches up from Brighton. And did that for a couple of years, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
When did that? It wasn't as long as you think.
Maybe a month.
No,
We were
I'll say
selling,
about
we were selling
2 or
our
3.
first demo cassette,
Yeah.
which was all the Free Commons,
Yeah.
which I think was some of it was recorded at Grapevine
Yeah, it was all
in
of it,
March of
wasn't it? Most
'88,
of it, anyway.
and some at 811 maybe.
Wilbury, wherever was it? Wilbury?
No.
I think Wilbury
No,
was
no,
the
it was
carrying
811.
Not Wilbury, sorry.
at 811
Is that
in
Mikey's?
June
Yeah.
of '88.
Yeah, is that?
Yeah, it was
Is that in
Mike.
Kemptown or the one in Calfold?
One in Calfold.
Yeah, it was Calfold and Grapevine, was that?
Mikey's.
Those ones.
Yeah.
So doing shows, a few kind of South Coast local shows, maybe up to London, with its flogging a cassette, and
And t-shirts
And
that we were
t-shirts?
printing on our
with
kitchen table.
a manager.
No. Hang on. We're not
Yeah,
manager
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
in. Oh, hang on. When we did the Hair of the Dog, that's when Phil approached us saying,
Yeah.
I want to.
So that was at the Zap Club in Brighton.
Zap Club, yeah.
Exactly, that's right.
Yeah, it was early doors because I remember we
Oh, was it?
had purposefully, because we knew he was a manager of bands and wanted to be, and we kind of purposely kept away from him because we just like, we're not going to go up and
We
ask him
thought
like
he
every.
would hate it.
Yeah, he thought he'd hate it, and he just didn't want to bother him like every other band was.
Old Chairman
And then he
Flatwood.
came to us and he was like, "Your songs are amazing." And we goes, "Well, we thought he'd hate the music," and he was like, "Yeah, but the songs are like, you know."
Mm.
In fairness to him,
I was sharing a flat with him at the time because he was all to do with the Hag Records and his Hag Empire. But he did a sort of good compilation album.
Yeah.
Our previous band, Fence, did. Flick Spatula were on it. So he kind of knew the network in the South Coast. It was kind of handy. for that.
Southampton based.
Southampton, yeah.
Yeah. But he'd never been a band manager.
Oh no.
no, but he was
just
just.
ran a small record.
He was
label.
like us though. He was just really driven. He was really driven to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
So after that, I don't know how many shows we did in that first year. It's probably about 20
Fair
maybe.
amount. I think the idea was we're trying to do one a week. So like every time we
Yeah.
do one, or every 2 weeks, we'd have a brand new song to play. So that
right.
was the impetus for the writing. It was like write a song, rehearse it, play it at the next gig.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. So
I've
that's
still
what
got
we
posters.
understand is
I've still
really
got
quick.
posters for loads of them as well. And I've got photos from the George Robey. I've got some good stuff.
So we must have songs like what have we got here? England My Home, obviously.
Yeah.
Three
Good
Friends,
friends, I say that, yeah.
Hard Fight, What You Know,
Mm.
and then I'm not quite. I
There was
don't have
one
a
called
list.
Green Blade Rising.
Green Blade Rising, yeah.
There's another one. That
There was another one. Oh, Capital Gain.
Last
And
Days of
there was
Winter.
also
maybe?
Living in the Land.
Last Days of Winter was very
Last
early.
Days of Winter.
Yeah.
Living in the Land. There was one.
Living in the Land.
That was a
yes.
history lesson.
Yes.
Yeah, with a very, very dodgy chorus
Yes.
that we don't talk about.
A bit hardcore.
I've got a recording of it, but nobody else is going to hear it.
Probably for the best.
But we had a couple of sort of
Very
chips and
naive.
meals, didn't we? We started
yeah.
a set with, or that's probably a bit later on, but we started a set. Remember, we started, was it June Apple?
No, it wasn't. It was a different tune.
It's the Plains of Boyle.
Yes.
That's right.
Plains
Yeah.
of Boyle, and
I've
another
got-
one all mixed up
I've got
together.
a recording that I've been looking at from a bit later, so 1989, at the top
Right.
rank, which I think will also go out on the app as well.
On the Curious Life, on the extras, there's the show from the Richmond from 1989, and it starts with Plains of Boyle, and
That's what I think we've got.
89, you say, you're right.
A mythical figure.
yeah,
Yeah, so we've got that as well. I
which
think.
is great.
I
It's
think we've
just
got
awesome.
video of that, which will go up as
Yeah,
well.
which is brilliant. That's really good.
So when did we-
You got the one we did with Max in the old Gloucester.
Yes, we got that. Yeah,
We got that.
Yeah.
The Beat the
animation.
Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Blues,
It's, yeah, we got that. That's on the Curious Life as well.
That
but
was
we can
early.
put that up.
That was
Yeah.
very early stuff.
Bit of animation that he did on it.
Yeah,
Yes.
the quality of that one was just almost unusual.
It's all right. It's all right. He misses the start and the end because the
Yeah.
video was so degraded. But we got 2/3 of it.
Well, memory's a bit hazy and all this bit, but when did we go to Amsterdam? When we met with Sean?
Well, that happened in 1989. So these 88, I think we were getting the gear to shows in your Mini, Charlie. Do you
We did in Brighton, yes.
Do you want to
Had
talk
the
about your Mini
Oh
briefly?
God, not really.
Right, anyway, Charlie's the only person that managed to get his entire drum kit into a Mini
And our apps.
and
And the back line.
the back line, and then we had
There's
to
two
walk.
trips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We realised then we needed a van.
Yeah, for the touring bit, I got my mate from where I was working, sort of like the jobs allowance scheme thing when I was digging up Peacehaven. He had a van, he drove us to a few gigs.
All right.
I barely remember him, but yeah, he drove us to some gigs. But then we got Terry, didn't we?
That was like, well,
Yeah.
I bought a van. I was getting rid of the Mini. I had to get rid of the Mini because that was ridiculous. Bought a van, did a few shows with that. And then Terry came along. We had a bigger van. And it's like, yeah, you're up for doing the driving. Brilliant.
Well, here I've got 1989, January of 1989. We did a gig at Sussex Uni Crypt,
That's
and
where
I think,
Charlie came.
and I think that's where
That's what Charlie Mike.
Charlie Myatt came.
He
in.
is,
Yes.
And
He did. Yeah.
we'd all gone back to. We were
Yeah,
Jez and
it's
I
our
were
place.
sharing a house at the time, and
That's right.
we'd all gone back there for a few drinks and a bit.
A few
Yeah.
drinks,
Yeah,
like the alcoholic poisoning state of drinks.
and we got a knock on the door,
Yeah.
and this strange figure at
Dark,
the door
big dark figure
who
came in.
that none of us had ever met before. complete stranger, just said, I think your band's brilliant and I want to sign you. I want to be your agent. And then he just fell flat on his face
Rock and roll.
through the front door into the hallway
Yeah.
because he was absolutely plastered. But we dragged him into the front room and sat him down,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
and that was Charlie Myatt, who
Yeah.
became our agent.
Indeed.